Welcome to One Bite at a Time, a podcast where I, Chef Wu,
and I, Chef V,
discuss the hospitality and culinary industry from both our professional and personal experiences.
and touch on all the things that make us smile, cry, laugh, shout, and celebrate, all whilst trying to figure out how to set the standard
One bite at a time. So today we are discussing the growing importance of social media and how it is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Aiding the perception of the food and tourism industry all around the world, but our focus is obviously Nigeria.
Everyone is online. I mean, that's how we get our information these days, our social media accounts, everything. We are an online community, an online world. And one would even say food tourism is now heavily pushed through social media channels.
Yeah.
So today we have with us Taiwo, aka the one and only foodie in Lagos.
The OG. The OG.
Hi,
Taiwo
everyone.
is that girl. Like, if you know about anything in Lagos, food related and otherwise, as she's kind of opening up her platform to many other touristy things, Taiwo is that person you look for. Most of you will know her as foodie in Lagos. And I think I'm a perfect case study for this. When I first came across her, I wasn't living in Nigeria, and I was looking for a way to, what was I trying? I was trying to do a private dinner.
Yes.
And I reached out to her, and I just thought she was one young babe. So the first time I actually met Taiwo and I realized she was like a big sis, I was like, wow.
Jeez, I'm young.
But the
young.
work she's been doing, sensational.
And she's been here not one, not two, not five,
not 8.
10.
Is it
10 going on 11?
11
Is it?
now.
Yeah,
11
double
now.
digits.
2013, yeah.
When we talk about
actually.
OGs, we're talking about people like Taiwo. So Taiwo, forget what we have to say. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Taiwo, aka Tai, and I keep on saying I'm the only foodie in Lagos that you should know. So I've run foodie in Lagos. I've run foodie in Lagos for about 11 years now, and it basically came from a place of frustration. So, going on holidays in the UK, there were blogs, there were review blogs, there were like, just review sites, and we didn't have anything like that. So initially I wanted to be like a photographer, still life photography, and then my laptop crashed. Stories are touched. And then I just moved on to like just doing food, and I worked a very, very busy job. I started my career in investment banking, so there were like lots of late nights, weekends, and there was also lots of socializing, going out. And somehow everyone just turned me to that person that, oh, where can we go for this? Where can we go for that? And I felt like, why don't you just open a blog? Like, why shouldn't all of us, your BBM status? I don't know if you guys know BlackBerry.
No,
I don't know. I'm big sister, so I don't know how much difference, but I was always updating my status. I think I felt like to just open a blog, and I consumed so many blogs. Jeez, I was always on blogs, blog loving, I was just everywhere, So I opened my blog, and then whenever I got the chance, then I would just share my experiences. And then over time, and this was still kind of like, Instagram wasn't really what Instagram is now. Like, it was really just post your fine picture and get out. Like, nobody really cared. It was really more on Twitter. Like, you would have threads or just chats, and then everybody would weigh in. It wasn't very, very, what's the word? It wasn't as toxic as what Twitter is now, And then with time, platforms started evolving. And then obviously with things like food, it's, really more pictorial. Like, you have to see the pictures, and then videos too are now not really what videos were. And so that's how I started sharing. And somehow, honestly, let me not lie, every year that we turn a year older, I still always wonder how I'm still like being able to do this, because the energy I apply to it now and then is like times 100. Maybe then I'll do like maybe one post a week or one post every 2 weeks. But now, like, at least out of 7 days, I'm probably doing like maybe 5 out of 7 days or 4 out of 7 days, So yeah, I think social media has really, really changed over the years. So then 10 years ago, 9 years ago, you just post your picture of your food. You're not really writing like a whole long review before I reading. You're able to just basically reroute them. Like, click the link. No, it doesn't mean nothing like link in bio. Go to my website, foodinlagos.com, go and read this. But now there's a lot more like community building.
Yeah.
Influencer marketing is at an all-time high. In fact, if you're not even putting influencer marketing for your marketing budget, you're wasting your time. There's also like very, very people are taking food photography very serious, even as a career. I've seen someone who has like gone from blogging to being a food photographer, and thanks to social media, thanks to Instagram, it's very visual. I would say now things go viral quite quickly. Like you can post something on Twitter, it might not be anything serious to you, and then you wake up, and the thing is on like 100K impression. You're like, what happened? So, Nigerians, Africans, I think we rely so much on social media now for news, for everything. It's really like, but again, I think some parts of social media that I always have an issue with is just how do you make sure some information are accurate? Like, there's also that bad side of something just goes up and there's no verification, and all these hungry clickworthy blogs just pick it up, and it has its own consequences. But story for another day. But yeah, we'll just keep it to food.
No, definitely.
But then that makes sense, because clickbait for some people in the space is literally their business model. It's how they
that's how
they thrive, how they move, and okay.
I think it's so fascinating to see how like customer interest or like attention, I'll say that customer like grabbing attention has also developed or underdeveloped.
I don't even know if it's developed. I think
because we would take time to read blogs before and find and research. I remember we would go online, go through. It was like Google research, market research to find out where it is you want to visit. Nowadays, if I go on TikTok and I just type, I better see a 10-second recap video with just
So I would say retention and attention all-time low. So TikTok especially, like literally, I have a whole caption. I've even started trying to shorten it, and different platforms work differently. So TikTok, they don't like to read, and sometimes I'm just wondering, okay, do I start putting the address as a text on the video? Would they rather post it and screenshot it? But I put everything in the caption, and you still see like half of the comments.
They'll ask questions.
Where is this place? What's the address? So most times, if I had time, I reply with the full address. But sometimes I'm like, it's in the caption.
Hello, car.
They don't read. They don't read. Which is why, like, it's even still part of how like social media is changing. I used to be very shy doing voiceovers. I still am, but I think some people rather sometimes listen to what you're saying than read your caption, and then even like putting like on screen text as well. I think it tends to help. Some people also don't even like to hear any audio music. I have a friend who watches
in silence.
She watches everything in silence.
I'm funny, I can be like that.
She's like, please, why are people? They should put it on the screen. I'm like, well, the source is in you listening to it. But I mean, it's really a struggle just trying to understand how every platform works. At the end of the day, is really still just content to some people, and some people just rather just doom scroll. It's just how they pass time. But again, more people search on TikTok than on Google
it's
now.
Even
when you search on Google, like you see TikTok searches TikTok, it brings up TikTok.
That's so interesting. I just wanted to ask how you feel. I think all of us can kind of answer this, but how do we feel like social media has influenced our industry as a whole? Like, what are the pros and cons, I suppose, of social media in our...
She's sounding so posh. I'm so sorry. She said pros and cons of social media.
The pros and cons of social
queen.
media. What do you feel like the pros and cons of social media are specifically to our industry?
So I'd say, I mean, it has its pluses and minuses. I think in terms of plus, it's really helped. It's really helped put a spotlight on just the cultural nuances around certain types of food. It's also helped with publicity in some level and way. I feel like if you're a food business and you're not having any visual strategy, I don't think it will really take off. Except you're really an established person where even if you're selling air, we're going to come and buy the air. We don't need to see you advertise the air. Do you understand? But you just really have to be able to put yourself out there. There's some fun trends that I saw a restaurant in Uganda. In fact, I was laughing.
I know exactly what you're talking about because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious. So I think it's helped. I would say maybe more pluses. how social media has helped. It's really more promotion. I think again, everybody's online. Everybody has a smartphone. So if you want to know about something first, you're going to go on social media. You're going to go online to check for this thing. So it's really helped, like also really educate people.
Yeah.
As well. I think I posted something. I don't even know. Was it a hack? Like my mom taught me. This was like when I was like age 6, and it was just really hard to know how eggs go bad. If you want to know, like if your eggs are bad, and I just saw people because I'm like, oh wow, like I just feel like we're also with every generation we're losing some. Losing
losing the source.
Yeah, some source and some education. I don't know. They're just something. And somehow social media has helped to basically teach and bring that back as well. And then you see content creators who create food content, recipes in their kitchen. They mix this and mix. They try different things. Some of us are also learning how to cook from social media. So I don't know how many people still buy recipe books. Then recipe cookbooks were a big thing.
Yeah.
My mom had like 6. Like she would just wake up one weekend where she's cooking Chinese something.
I think unless you're very like enthusiastic about it, you
Yes.
just go on TikTok. You see the
TikTok,
recipe.
you see full recipe list. You download the video. You press pause. You do your thing.
I've done some cooking actually, watching a video next to me and just following it. And
I still love a cookbook experience.
But I love a cookbook. That's why I said you have to be enthusiastic.
I love the cookbook experience
because I actually do it for more historic. I love to get a tradition and historical touch points and inspiration. But that's great. I think what you said in terms of just food tourism and how it's reached globally, like I love to see how someone from a completely different country can get a snapshot of what you're doing in your country. They can see your food, they can see your restaurants. I know when I'm traveling to somewhere new, I love to just go on TikTok and see what people have done, where they visited. And I think my pro would be being able to literally organize a full itinerary off social media alone. Like thanks to technology, you can save spots, you can put them, even create folders online and say, okay, this is my Bali folder, or this is my Port Harcourt folder, and you have all the list of restaurants. So it's nice that with technology you're able to have an itinerary for touristic purposes.
So I think that you touched on really good pros. I want to kind of just, what do you feel like some of the challenges are? Because I feel like there are quite a few. So like for me, I think one would be where it's like what you see on Instagram and what you actually get are entirely
what I ordered versus
what I got. Yeah, in real life. Do you know what I mean? So what do you feel like some of those are?
So, I mean, I think that is one. So I feel like sometimes some brands or restaurants, sometimes they just misrepresent what they actually do serve. Social media, you see what they want you to see. You can curate an entire new life on social media that is not even actually what is true. I think another challenge I've seen with social media is even also like, will I say it's customer behavior? So how do I put this? So me as a content creator, food blogger, food creator, whatever I want to call it, I find that, and I don't know if it's just low IQ. I don't know what it is. So I'm here, I'm saying this is my experience. I'm not saying don't go to this place. I've not said this place is bad. So literally, like for me, I'm just like, so social media has also helped restaurants also be somewhat accountable. Before they could get away with a lot. Now that they know that everybody has a phone, and they are taking pictures of evidence that this is what you said me. I saw him. They can't really shy from the truth. But like the bad side about it is that because everybody has a phone, there's access. You have a lot of like keyboard warriors, right? Some people are swearing for you. How can you say? I'm just like, but this is my personal experience. So that's vitriol, like that. I don't know. I don't like that aspect where people don't try and actually understand what you're saying. They just want to quickly just trend on some level of I don't know what it is, like dragging, and I don't do dragging. So now I just start blocking. I started blocking a lot. Someone came, I think the other day, said you did Chris. I just said blocked. Like I'm not even going to argue with you. You know,
to naturally go off that, I think negativity sells online.
So
that's a challenge.
That's one area that I'm not very comfortable with on social
and I feel
media.
like people, a lot of people would rather push a bad review or a bad experience because that's what's going to trend.
Oh, that's what's going to trend. That's what's going to trend.
People like to live off that. We live off negativity, and it ends up being, are you actually looking for the betterment of where you are, or is it
Mm.
just to trend with thousands and thousands of views and shares?
Yeah.
So that's a big challenge for me. Because in the same way that we've established that social media is a fantastic tool for food tourism, it's also a powerful tool to destroy a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'll try and weigh in on that. So I think me as a person, like personally, I don't think, how will I put it? I don't go out reviewing restaurants because I'm trying to destroy their
Of
business.
course.
And I think it also depends on the sort of wordplay, how you put it. But there's also a level of, maybe like just, using the Bible or social media, what sometimes you say as a hook that would get that video
Well, some people
popping.
come with me to the worst restaurants I've been to,
you know. But a lot of times, and I feel there has to be a constant education. I'm going out spending my own money, having several food poisoning that I sometimes don't even talk about. So for you to now say I'm trying to spoil your business, a lot of times those business owners, I feel like they don't even have like mystery diners to actually give them the real feedback on what they're actually serving.
No, if you're affecting your health, they should be told. They should be.
Oh yeah, but people just feel like, oh, why didn't you tell the restaurants first? But I'm not their consultants. I'm not obligated to. So most of the time I go to restaurants, maybe the waiter, sometimes I even try and test it. You see, you served me a full plate of food. I barely touched it. You've come to pack it. If you care, part of you should ask, sorry, ma, like, was there anything wrong? But if you ignore it, man, okay, you don't even deserve me giving you feedback because you also don't really care about your customers.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's leave it like that. But a lot of times it's not.
Leave it like
because
that for me.
because even now, like when I was coming here, like just before we went live, I was gonna say like nowadays, like I'm just like if I go to a restaurant and it's bad, I'm just not even going to say anything. You should go there and experience in nonsense, and then see how it is. And everything is so expensive now. You want to eat like a good 3-course meal. You're not spending anything less than 60K, 60, 70K. Imagine if you are going out every weekend.
It's true. It's a lot of money. Adds up.
But a lot of times when we give reviews that are not maybe as positive, it's really we want the restaurant to take it and go and do something about it.
There's nothing wrong. I critique. There's nothing wrong with that.
But you see commentary, insulting, cussing. Someone said they should even arrest me, like, that lady.
Sorry, I don't understand. Why?
Because I said I didn't enjoy something that I ate.
That's hilarious.
Yes, so now, literally they want to strangle everybody. You cannot say how you feel. And there are certain things that should not be precedents because it's going to have like spiraling bad effects for everything.
Yeah.
So I think to put that into a challenge, I would say people who are, let's say, either professional or well equipped to, this is their job, this is their profession. They're being maybe put in the same line as people who are just doing it for
recreational purposes.
Exactly. So whether to blow or just speak their spiel online, and that can be a challenge for people who actually do this professionally. Like I'm not just a random online troll. Like if I'm giving you something, it's because I have the ability to do so.
To do it.
But we all just being grouped into the same category, unfortunately. Or maybe someone will not be able to take what you're saying as educational, but they will now, maybe commenters will now say, so this is my opportunity to now give my blast on your comment page. But it's like, that's not what I'm trying to promote. So it's hard to differ, like for people to differentiate between professional content versus, because it's all on one platform.
Yeah. I think one thing that we should look at is how can we use these platforms to kind of bring awareness to the food and tourism sector or even improve it. So like for me, I think some great things that have happened that have really put a spotlight on the food and tourism in Nigeria are two relatively recent things. The Hilda Bassi Cookathon, which was something that kind of put the food industry on like a worldwide platform. Guinness Book of World Records is literally all across the world. Like literally, if you're looking for a world stage, that was it. And I think it was executed so beautifully, so professionally. because, you know, off the back of it, so many things have happened for her and it's happened for the industry. And there's even been like a snowball effect of every Dick, Tom and Harry suddenly wanting to break the world record.
Dun, 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 dun.
But we won't focus on that today.
We won't focus on that today.
Yeah.
That is definitely something everyone
Yeah.
should wrap up though. Like, we all don't need to be cooking for 1,000,000 hours, but that was great.
Yeah.
In the way, especially with the way it was done.
Yeah.
I think it's not just that she did it, it's the way it was executed. It was
for
done
sure.
so well. I think the second one, in terms of tourism, you're then looking at someone like Palumi Nubi and her driving from London to Lagos. That is no small feat. That is that one is even self-explanatory.
Yeah.
To do that, to end up in Lagos, the reception here, the facts that I feel like Nigeria, especially Lagos State, really handled it well. Like they did the things that they should have done to kind of honor her
Exactly.
and, like, you know, kudos to her. They gifted her things. They took on the fees. Like, that was great. And they've made her a tourist ambassador. That's a big fucking deal. Like, that's a big deal. And it is so good. And those are the kind of things that we need to be doing and putting out on social media and everywhere to push food and tourism.
What I love about those as well is just how positive it is. It's so inspiring when in a place where, like we said, negativity blooms. I don't want to use the word blooms there. Negativity grows. To see positivity bloom, there we go, in that space where we came together in such camaraderie to be so proud of what Nigerians can accomplish. And I think with that reach, what do you do with that platform you've now created? What do you do with the interest that is now being seen globally? How do we as professionals tap into that interest and make sure that people are seeing content that is credible and inspiring and pushing our industry forward? I think of when I look at Palumi, I'm thinking of, you know what, we can travel across our countries to look at food in different areas and do a road trip, a foodie road trip, things like that, and really just look at this. The eyes are on us now. Even the last the chess championships and
Tunde
Tunde, fantastic. Good. Nigeria is just ticking the boxes, but for me, the important thing is now the attention is on us. We as professionals need to make sure we take ownership of that through the platform that we have been blessed with, which is social media.
I think, you know, it still really comes down to being original.
100%.
And creating original content. And also inspiring and also teaching. So I think one thing I would like to see more from, you know, creatives in our space is, you know, using our platform more positively and shining a light on other types of cuisine. And again, you know, it's also so beautiful to see, like, you know, you see other creators in, you know, different continents. Everybody's trying to cook jollof rice. I don't know if you saw the commercial with Chef Eros. I was like, even how he does define it, you know, say one jollof. I'm like, yes, please, let's end the jollof wars. Because at the end of the day, every country has how it's will cook his own jollof, right? So I just feel like, you know, that marriage between food and tourism, it will really just be nice to see more people come up and do original things that are also inspiring, motivating, and also be good role models to the younger generation as well. And I think at the end of the day, it still comes down to we can do it. You know, I never really thought I'd see a Nigerian woman, a Black woman, drive solo. In fact, I worried for her when she put it. I was
I'm not gonna lie, I saw it that day and I was like, girl, do not get in that car.
You know, I was so worried for her because, you know, even though just being a woman as well has its own issues, you know, so I was really, really worried for her. And I've seen like other pages, you know, somebody's hiking with his girlfriend or wife from, I think, London to South Africa. I've seen like 4 friends traveling. Like, I'm seeing more, you know, but most of them they're mostly Caucasian. Like, so I mean, Palumi has done
Muslims, so I didn't quite catch that.
So they're mostly Caucasian.
I just wanted you to.
I'm not trying to say white people.
No, that's why I wanted you
for
to.
Me, it's so troublesome.
Joe, I don't know how to fight, so not like the, you know.
No, but the beauty of what you're even saying is the fact that in as much as people have been doing things like this before,
yeah.
but we are now taking it in because one of our own did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's now opening up our minds and the ideas to
possibilities,
potentially
yes.
doing it,
Exactly.
like you've said.
Yeah.
Food tour across West Africa would be
Oh, yeah. It's so
amazing.
beautiful.
Exactly.
Do you get what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
and it's what we're saying. It's like, how are they using whatever it is they're doing to then platform the continent or country, and how are professionals in the space then taking that and
Exactly.
amplifying it?
Yeah.
And
When I think about it, it's what works online is flipping the switch.
Yes.
And that's what they did. They took something that is so uncommon or unknown to us and said, you know what, I'm going to take charge of this territory. Even with the jollof, we've been debating. We like to debate. We like to have wars. Why not say, you know what, why can't we combine? That's what we do as chefs now. Instead of saying, this, we'll keep this with this tribe, we'll keep this with this. Why not flip the switch and take the best things from each to make something even more beautiful? So it sparks more conversation. I think that's what we need more of, for people to learn and be inspired online, then to take that narrative into educating.
Yes.
So I would love to see more conferences, more presentations, you know, seeing why certain mindsets have, you know, pushed boundaries, and learning from that and seeing how we can apply that to our own lives as well.
Same, and maybe more cross-country collaborations as well.
Exactly.
yes, definitely.
Nice to see.
Definitely. It's funny that you say that, because I definitely saw something on the British Council, and they had a I think it was a grant or something on those lines for cross. So it would have to be a collaboration with someone in Nigeria and someone in Britain.
Right.
And then they'd give that grant if you fit the criteria and stuff. But these are things that there are certain organizations that are pushing things of that nature. And it's just about, one, knowing where to find them, two, knowing how to tap into it, and three, just being honest and authentic about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a means to, you know, take advantage of something, but let it not be self-serving. Let it be for the betterment of the industry, the country, whatever it may be.
Another point I want to touch on as well, you know, when you look at food tourism from countries who are very much invested in it, there is support from the government. I mean, the government comes up quite a bit in our podcasts, but there is support, and there's financing. There's a presence of government initiatives online as well. I would love to see Ministry of Tourism have an active page where you know, they were online taking advantage of this social media phenomenon, and even saying, you know what, maybe I can't do it, but I would love to partner with someone who, imagine if Lagos government had partnered with Palumi before and gave her the resources to showcase what you know, she's going through. And also with like Hilda, I feel like the government comes on when the awareness has caught on millions and millions.
When it's a big deal, then they jump on.
Then they jump
like,
on.
Yes, well done, congratulations.
Hopefully with these instances now where they are seeing it is important, I would love to see them now put more measures in place.
From the offset.
From the offset.
Yeah,
I hope they are listening and watching.
Yeah.
Want to see more?
Give us more.
And I think that would also just help regulate food tourism as well.
100%.
Make sure it's a lot more professionally executed in places like Nigeria.
Yeah,
definitely. You know, when I look at food tourism, and I look at other countries, an example, you see, for example, like Discover Dubai, Discover India, Discover, you know, there's those pages have created and highlighted the kind of environments or restaurants or spaces that are doing something that a tourist would be interested in. So I think it'll be good to highlight maybe some of those spaces here in Nigeria, that if we did have such a page that was thriving, what would be those kind of things that in our F&B industry that have kind of pulled in a tourist and engaged them from online, I would say. If I could give an example from the top of my head, I feel like, for example, Landmark with the beach, even Seoul with, you know, the restaurant strip, something that you just think, why wasn't this done?
Yeah.
You know, somewhere you can go, you've got all these restaurants on an axis, you've got a public beach that you don't have to go to share privately to hire a boat. Every time someone comes in that is trying to explore Lagos for the first time, they are always so obsessed with, they must go to Landmark, they must go to Seoul Beach. Yeah.
landmarks or and then I think some of them also like to visit like monumental areas, the theater,
Yes.
TBS. I would also say Iton
Yes,
Test Kitchen
definitely.
as well. It's always so sought after. They're always fully booked.
Yeah.
I've also been to some like pop-ups, like can you remember the pop-up we were
With
at
Moyo.
Atije?
Mhm.
That was also really, really good. Really, 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 really good. I enjoyed that a lot. And then I've also seen, places like Ajoje also come up,
Yeah.
by Kewa's Kitchen. So it would be nice to see
Yeah,
more.
I think another great one is
more.
Shay Logos Bizas.
Oh,
the K
yes.
Oh, yeah,
barbecue.
Oh,
the
yeah.
K
Oh, I love her
barbecue.
K barbecue. I've
And
gone
she's
twice
got such
now.
a great variety of different
Yes.
different cultural
Culture.
customers.
Yes.
But knock is I love the concept of knock as an argument. Nigerians like to fight knock. But in terms of food tourism,
they
it's a
drag me.
fantastic introduction
yes.
to what our food is
Yes.
in a more palatable environment, I
Yes,
would
I
say.
agree.
Rather than being thrown into the deep end. Although if you ask your Caucasian tourists, they would rather go to the markets and you see them on TikTok taking even things my stomach cannot handle. But yeah, it's great.
Yes.
Do you have any one to highlight?
I don't think I have any to highlight. I think you've mentioned some of like the ones I would have really touched on.
Okay.
Landmark Council is a no-brainer.
I have one more. This one pains me because it's going to lead me to our next question. So there's one concept at Lagoon called Seafood Thursdays.
I went last week. No, 2 weeks ago.
What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. So
the concept of it.
Exactly. So for those that don't know, it's a normal restaurant Monday to literally every day of the week.
Yeah.
But on Thursdays in particular, their team go out into the deep ocean and fetch a fresh catch each week. And they display the catch
live,
raw, live, alive, everything. So you go queue up, you get there early, you queue up and you select the seafood you want them to cook.
I think that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
where is it?
Literally next to it, Radisson Blue.
Lagoon.
Churrasco's.
Okay.
So that concept of it's like catch and kill.
Points and kill.
But and then they can even ask you how you want it cooked. And then they come and bring it. It's super fresh, amazing produce. And I smile with joy and then I cry because I'm like, a city that is surrounded by water, coastal, beautiful city should have a whole strip
of stuff
like that. You can go anywhere else in the world and just take a promenade and you have these type of coastal kind of restaurants, and it's something that as food tourism so seriously, we would invest in this kind of, and it's different price levels. Some are finer than in some are just literal market. You have a plastic chair, you sit down on the beach with the sand in your toes and you enjoy some fresh catch. Yeah. It's beautiful. We should have that. So like, what else do you think we need to have more of that? If we took our food tourism seriously, what should we have?
Like you said,
feel like sorry, you can go ahead. I feel like there's certain meals that are sort of like popular and more cultural. There's the abula. You also have maybe food that is also indigenous to Lagos. Like a kokore, some other thing. It would just be nice if they were like, and again, it still comes down to that infrastructure. Like you have a place where no matter where you are in Lagos or Nigeria, you can come on a monthly basis and showcase there, and everybody in Lagos knows this thing is a frequent thing. You just come, you buy your tickets.
Like a food market?
Yeah, like a food market. Yeah, like a fresh like food market or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Or like Time Out.
Yeah.
So again, when I saw seafood night, I was like, I knew obviously it wasn't even Nigerians that are doing it. Just like you see, like when you sit down sometimes and think about it, we travel to other countries, we see how things are done. What will it take to push us to that point where we think we can do it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another whole question entirely. But
it doesn't even take that much. Like you look at like Thailand or Singapore, where their tourism and
it's so simple.
Billions of people fly in for the most. It's literally a strip of market stores, street food that's just been supported by The government.
Government.
But it doesn't have to be this lavish.
It doesn't have to be lavish.
It's just, let's create a space where we can bring different vendors and, of course, quality checks and make sure everyone's meeting
regulations
to
are
health
in
and
place.
standards.
But that itself is also the problem, because we also like things packaged. We like things big, I feel like if I just got a bunch of maybe different market women and say, let's do this, somebody, one or money will come from somewhere and say I should pay and all that. Do you understand? But again, I feel like there has to be that intentional promotion by even like our state boards or country boards, whatever it is, to even promote this day. It's not really just about, because when you think about it, there's really never really that many places to go to in Lagos. If you're not at an Owambe on Saturday, church on Sunday, cinema, children's parties, your friends' parties, there's really not much to do. Which is why obviously, like, as we see more and more food fairs, food festivals come up, people are always looking for ways to go. I did one in 2016. I just haven't had the energy because now price points, everything is just so high. But again, inflation will always continue to inflate. I mean, that's another thing. But we think about it and say, oh, it's so simple. But when you think about the execution, the human capital you need, the sort of support, operations, it's a whole lot. And then you need to probably get approvals.
It's simple if you were supported. That's what, as a private business, it's not simple.
It's not. But as something that is backed by the government, maybe even spearheaded by the government in collaboration with a few professionals, it can be done.
It can.
And the problem is, and we will keep saying it, is until the government decide that they want to take an equal stake in the industry, the way people like us are doing, we're not going to see all these comparisons we make are falling on deaf ears. Like, it's pointless, because quite frankly, these things exist in those places because they're given the right support, they have the right initiatives to back them, the structure is there, the regulations are there. There's no one more what do you call it, calling and saying you owe us, like, all those things don't exist in those places, and that is what allows it to thrive. We don't have the basic infrastructure for these things. We don't have the basic structure.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
It doesn't exist, and this is what we need to interrogate first before we can even fantasize about building these things. Unfortunately,
I think it comes from, like you said, rather than fantasize, if we actually took accountability to check ourselves and see what we're not doing well with, and take fundamental critique to improve. We can dream and dream and dream.
Exactly.
But if you have to sit down and also say that, what are the fundamental issues that as a nation we need to improve on, and that will naturally then lead you to creating such
absolutely
such environments.
Yeah, I agree.
And even just going off the back of checking ourselves on what we don't have, it leads me to looking at the type of globally recognized brands that have actually tried to come to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And when is the government going to wake up and be like, so and so, how many times have come? What is it about our infrastructure that we're not providing? For example, Global Citizen have tried to do something in Nigeria, and because of infrastructure issues, they weren't able to hold it here. Festivals, I'm sure as well.
Afro Nation as well.
Afro Nation, because
although
I don't know about that.
I feel like it would have been the perfect intersection of music and also food. Because again, people who don't live in Nigeria, from being outside the country, you're seeing people talk about the jollof rice. The jollof rice alone is a seller, right? You could even just have had a separate station where it's just jollof station, different brands, everybody from all those Olokpo, Lagos Island, those big men that have their big arms.
That's when you know it slaps.
You understand? You just have also to the knock, to the house, and you just have it there, like, as part of the Afro Nation. So you have like a first and fusion of food and music. So there's no how you go and, because when I went for Afro Nation in Portugal, the food, they had like lots of food stands.
Most music festivals, the food is always also an highlight.
But they're not even all
it's
that
mid,
great. I was just like,
but then it's because we're drunk, and that's the beauty of it. We're drunk.
No, the alcohol is always
we're drunk. So the food is
But it's the point.
I was looking forward to it. So I didn't know how the logistics would work, but I know like I had friends who are looking to come in. I'm like, they will finally have this your jollof rice and you see all your favorite artists.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
It was,
And the thing, we said at the beginning, we've gotten a global interest.
Yes, our eyes are on us.
For years,
so
they've actually tried to
with
penetrate the market. So it's going to come to a point, God forbid, where people are going to stop inquiring. We're now notoriously known for not having the structure in place, but hopefully it's a wake-up call. But the same way, I think it's important to say with food tourism and social media, if you want to be acknowledged as a global destination, you also have to provide global standards. Global...
sorry. Repeat that. Just say it one more time, Vanessa.
And I'll speak to the camera. If you want to be acknowledged as a global destination, you also have to provide global standards. And I think that trickles down from government to business owners, chefs like ourselves, bloggers like yourselves. We all have to promote a global standard in what we do. And on that note,
I'm not even going to say anything else, because when I speak, they say I'm being shady. But Vanessa has said it all. And I think that is a perfect way to round up that conversation. Vanessa, we need that on a t-shirt.
I know.
Actually,
we do.
Global
on a t-shirt.
Global standards.
On a t-shirt. Oh, Vanessa. All right. So, Ty, we are now going to go into our favorite segment. And it is called the One Bite segment. And the premise of it is we have a little hot topic, something we want to discuss. It doesn't have to be too formal. You can get, a bit leery. You can let them know your real mind. You don't have to use
Maybe this is where Wumi will be shady.
You don't have to use your PR mind. Just say what you want. Nobody can flog you. Don't worry, we're your bodyguards. And today's One Bite segment, we want to discuss, I think this conversation, this is a great way, this is the perfect time to discuss this informally before we maybe decide to speak about it further on down the line when it's become a bit more, when we kind of understand what's going on a lot better. But what is currently happening with Lagos State versus Landmark and the whole Oniru Beach strip axis thing. So my one bite on that, and I'm going to try and keep it short and simple. We've mentioned this in this episode. We've mentioned this previously. The government don't seem to, because I want to be careful with my words, that me not have aunties and uncles calling me to flog me. The government don't seem to care enough about certain industries when they don't. A lot of our government are older people. So it's like they don't see the new value in the things that we have. Tourism in most places in the world is their biggest revenue income. It should be ours too. And they literally want to sand fill and turn the only beach strip that we have that's easily accessible. Because the other ones we have to get on a boat. And those boats are not necessarily the safest things. The only accessible beach strip we have, and turn it into a highway. And the irony of that is, if you look at sustainability and what's going on an environmental scale, the fact that you're doing that beside water and across the world, across the entire globe, water levels are rising at an unprecedented rate. That highway is not going to last. That's the irony of it. So you're going to take away something that is actually generating income, revenue for the country and jobs. And you're going to put a highway there and then give it all but 50 years. The highway's going to be underwater.
Will it even get completed?
Why? Would you even finish it? I didn't say that, V did.
I was trying to be quiet.
But it's something that I'm actually shouting because I'm so angry. And it's these things are meant to coexist. We're not meant to be at loggerheads. It shouldn't be Lagos State government versus Landmark. It should be, okay, we've called a meeting. This is what we're proposing. How can can these two things coexist? Not that, okay, this one is disposable. We're going to fill it. We're going to turn it into a highway. The highways you have, what about them? That's one that they're building by Aja. Is it finished?
I don't think so.
All right. I rest my case.
Rumi came to eat the whole meal.
She's upset.
But seriously, Ty, what's your one
What's
bite?
my one bite on this? Honestly, when I saw the news, I was very sad. Because it's very organized, small ecosystem there. When you're there, you don't even realize you're in Lagos. It's just I don't know. It's just really nice, and I really like a situation where they can walk around it. So obviously, I know there was some blueprints. They've mapped out the route and all that. Is there a way that you could just make it work? Like, because jobs are. Jobs again, Nigeria is not one place where we have like high unemployment rates. You're about to put thousands of people
back in that place,
in that unemployment zone. So I really, really do hope, because I saw a video, was it on Twitter? Yeah, that they had even started sand filling.
Yes, they have.
So I'm really hoping that, I mean, I don't know, but I haven't even looked at like this blueprints and all that. But like what you were saying, I hope there's a way where the highway and the beach as a tourism destination
can coexist.
Can coexist. No one is saying we shouldn't probably have more highways, but when you think about it, like how many years would that take? Because if ordinary this Aja traffic, almost 3 years now.
Exactly.
I don't think it's improved. No one is saying we don't want economic development and maybe connecting states more, but that infrastructure, security, even the train line, the light rail, we saw how long that took, and there's a lot of disruption. So I really do hope that with everybody shouting and appealing, there's some level of middle ground that is met. Because to see that go away,
it's a shame.
It will be a shame.
More than a shame. Disastrous.
And I really worry because global warming, flooding, all this. I'm just like,
yeah.
All this pushing back this water. This is natural.
Yeah.
Let's not.
It's a lot. I mean, you've all touched amazing points. When I was doing the little research, let me say that. When I was researching about it, I
and this is brought to you by Tommy Juice.
Go ahead.
When I do my research, because I obviously didn't grow up here, so there's certain things that I didn't understand. Like, surely this should not even be allowed. Like, if these businesses have contracts, signed ownership of so and so from the government. I first learned that most government offices don't even give the written deed of ownership to many establishments that are buying land. They say, "Oh, don't worry, just pay the fee. I've got you." But they do that deliberately because they can then say you don't have the actual legal. And so they make it deliberately difficult for you to get that piece of paper because in 20 years, 5 years, 3 years, if they decide they want to take back that land, they want that flexibility. So it comes back to when we say, do we love ourselves? Do we respect ourselves? Do we work together? Why are we so against each other? Why can't the government want to see private establishments or whatever the case flourish? So that was something I learned. And then my other bite as well would be, rather than demolish, why can't we find the expertise to make the two work? You see people, well thought out construction architects. Are they architects? I'm not sure. And engineers.
Construction engineers.
They can do underwater. They can do bridges.
They can do tunnels. There's so many things.
Someone put that on Twitter and they literally blasted them.
You drive through the tunnel.
Yeah, I think I saw that where somebody was like, the person was like, so the government will build tunnel, you two, you go enter.
Or you don't know where you are. But like, why shouldn't we be progressing with proper engineering?
I enter now.
So that's my question.
I won't. But okay.
Before the sun just
God forbid.
God forbid.
We shouldn't think that way.
You shouldn't think that way.
We should be hiring the best engineers.
Yes.
Because we have fantastic engineers.
Yes.
We should be.
Because we
even
all
fly them back in from
wherever
or wherever they are.
Because our parents forced us. Doctor, engineer, lawyer. So there's enough of them.
It's a fantastic government initiative that should not be the detriment of such a
something
big
else
establishment
or touristic
landscape. put your money and invest it properly to make sure you get the best out of this connection that you want to do.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And thank you for my TED talk.
Okay, that's our one bite. That one was a bit wow. I really felt that one,
Hot.
but
That was like hot stew.
yeah, that one bite was real hot. It's a steaming bite. You see what I did there? Oh, I'm made
I
for
just thought of
this.
those, those dumplings that have the hot soup inside. I'm so unserious.
Okay, so Ty, we want to say thank you for joining us today in the showroom.
I hope you got to speak all the things that you wanted to say.
Yes.
And
yes.
thank you for being with us for the long run with all you've been doing over the last decade.
Thank you for your work. Like, genuinely, thank you for your work.
Shimmy, shimmy.
Honestly.
She said shimmy, shimmy.
If there's an award for longevity, you know.
It's yours.
Honestly,
Please, it's absolutely yours.
We're here.
But no, thank you. And I loved this conversation. Hopefully, food tourism is something that we can fully benefit from, fully capitalize, and be respected from all angles and avenues.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully at some point Nigeria will become a global destination
by 2020.
Amen.
No, let me do that again.
Because I thought you were being shady.
Yeah, I was being, but I was going to do it without all the shades. So, and hopefully Nigeria can truly be a global destination. I don't think it's something that's going to happen anytime soon, like in the next 2 or 3 years, but I feel like we are on the right trajectory for it.
Exactly.
And we just have to keep pushing. And on that note, we want to say thank you.
Yes.
Just a quick thank you, as usual, to Woodscope for allowing us to use a showroom to record this podcast. And of course, to Arrowhouse Studios, who make sure that you guys are able to hear our beautiful voices and see our gorgeous faces.
Thank you so much to Tommy for keeping us exceptionally hydrated this episode. Please make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at One Bite Pod, and you can find our full episode on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all streaming platforms combined.
Thank you guys for having me. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all Foodie in Lagos.
We look forward to continuing to dish it out with you all.
One bite at a time.